Welcome, my name is Holland Timmons, otherwise known as the Astari on this channel, and today I'm going to be reading to you Assassin of the Cross, my book. So, shall we start reading? In the pages of history, legends are born, e pluribus unum. Chapter 1, Holy War Declared, England, July, 1189 AD. Jerusalem has fallen! The town crier stands in the town square, raised above the crowd. The sky is filled with dark clouds. The town crier shouts as he continues reading from his parchment. King Richard heads to the Holy Land to reclaim it. All of England's sons are asked for help. A peasant looks to his wife. How could this happen? God protects Jerusalem. I don't know. Now the Saracens have the Grail, the peasant woman says. Robin is walking through the village to enter Nottingham Castle. He has long, brown, curled hair flowing to his shoulders. He has a date with a lovely lady. Robin has such a relaxed attitude, his girlfriend often remarks he has a jovial tone to his voice. It's always the nice ones you don't want to piss off. He wears rather nice blue clothes over his lithe frame. Robin is just passing by to go to meet her until he overhears the local peasants' conversation. He must know what they are talking about. The Grail? Yes, there is a rumor it resides in Jerusalem, possibly in one of the towers, the peasant woman responds. Robin heads to the local church immediately. Robin walks inside the church to meet his local friar. The church is large, made of stone. There are many stained glass windows within the church. Robin meets with the friar in between the dark wooden pews. Friar, you must look at one of your stained glass windows. Which one? The friar asks. Sir Galahad and the quest for the Grail. The friar takes Robin to the stained glass window. The friar stands next to the window, gesturing towards it. This is one of our oldest windows. Robin kneels, gazing upon the window. Robin looks upon a knight holding a chalice. The knight is offering it to an angel. And so Sir Galahad, having obtained the Grail, took it to Jerusalem, where he ruled until he ascended to heaven, the friar says. Is that what the Grail looks like? Robin asks the friar. The friar looks at Robin. That is what the artist thought it looks like. If you wish to look upon the Grail, you must go to Jerusalem and look inside yourself. Robin makes the sign of the cross. He leads the friar. Robin runs into a forest. He arrives at a combat practice area in the woods by a river. He pulls an arrow out of a quiver. He shoots the first arrow into a painted target on a tree. He hits the outer ring. Then after that, he hits the second ring. He hits the first ring. Finally, he hits the bullseye. He walks to a stump with a sword embedded in it. Robin looks as if he is staring back in time. Robin is in the castle's study, quarreling again with his father, Robert Hode. There is a red rug on the floor, a desk, a chair facing towards a wall. Robin stands in front of the fireplace. He has a long brown beard with bushy eyes. He is a rather bulky man wearing his usual red robe. Robert Hode points at Robin. You're going to stop seeing that girl. I order you to. You can't order me, Robert. You're not the king. Robert Hode's face grows angry red with fury. I am your father. I served the last king. You are a spoiled brat who does not know what it means to serve your king. Robin storms out. This was not the first time he had fought with his father over the woman he loved, but it would be their last. Robert Hode sits down in his armchair. He falls asleep as the fire burns. Robin creeps back in. His father's sword is resting against his father's favorite chair. Silently, Robin tiptoes towards his snoring father. His heart skips a beat every time there is a slight creak on the floor. He extends his arm, slowly. He grasps his father's sword. The fire pops, starting to crackle. Robin leaps back a bit as his father's sleep is slightly disrupted. Robert snorts, grunts, then nods off. Robin takes his father's sword, exiting the room. Robin dances his way out of the castle. Once outside, Robin sprints to the forest, traveling far into the green. He slows himself to a stop as he arrives at a stump by the river. The crashing of wetness echoes through the trees. Robin slides the sword from its scabbard. I'll serve the king one day, father, but until that day I'm taking your best sword, keeping it safe in a stump. I hate you, father. Robin thrusts the sword into the stump. The resistance of the wood reverberates through his arms. He leaves the sword embedded there to go see her in secret. He'll spend his time with her in secret until he can eventually marry her. Do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do. Robin returns to the present. He goes to the stump. He begins pulling on it, twisting it. He pulls the sword out of the stump. Robin strolls over to his woman's house. He knocks on the door. She opens her door, poking her head outside. She looks upon Robin. He has a boyish charm about him. Robin looks at her. She is so slim, so feminine. Her hourglass figure is complemented by her large breasts. Robin looks upon her face. She has elbow-length hazel hair. Her milky skin is even more noticeable by her red bee-stung lips. Her green eyes shine brightly as starlight, divided by her ski-slope nose. She's the most beautiful woman alive as far as Robin is concerned. Seeing who it is, she is kind of annoyed by Robin, but she is also confused about why he is here. Confused about why he is here. She stares into his brown eyes. What do you want? She asks. Robin lowers his head. I'm afraid I'm going to be gone by tomorrow. Oh my God. I had no idea. Robin's head is still lowered. His girlfriend grows annoyed. She points to her face. Robin, my face is up here, not down there. Robin looks up into her green eyes. Do you love me? Yes, of course. Robin motions to her. Follow me. Robin picks her up by her waist, setting his woman down on her tan horse. He walks her to his castle for the night. I've never been in this room before, his woman says. This is my father's room, Robin replies. She lays down on the bed of Robin's father. How soon will you leave? She asks. I don't know how long I have, Robin says. She cocks her head sideways. Have you quarreled with your father? No. Yes. Not recently. I love you. She grabs Robin's head, staring him in the eyes. She kisses Robin on his clean-shaven face. She takes his hand, kissing each of his 5 digits. She lays Robin down, rubbing her hands over his chest. He has a gymnast's body. She lays her head down onto his chest. She listens to his heartbeat. She takes off his shirt, revealing tight muscle. Robin does the same for her, removing her dress. Robin undoes his trousers. They make love while a framed picture of Robin's father watches them. Robin's lover is underneath him. She closes her eyes, tilting her head back to let out a roar. She begins clawing at Robin's back, becoming the first to draw his blood, just as he is the first to draw hers. She begins to pant heavily. Robin grabs her thigh, raising it. She then climbs atop Robin. Robin grabs her by the waist, caressing her flanks. Robin looks up at her. I want to remember this night. She places Robin's hand over her chest. Remember this. It belongs to you. Take it with it wherever you go. Robin smiles. You have a stronger heart than mine. I will need it. Robin climbs off of the bed. His girlfriend takes the sheets, covering herself with them. Robin, this is so sudden. What has brought all of this on? She puts on her dress. Robin puts on his trousers. I intend to join the crusade to reclaim the Grail in Jerusalem. I head out tomorrow. I've been afraid a day like this might come. You scorn me, Robin, but I shall be strong. Allow me to arm you for combat. Robin is armored by his woman. She slides a coat of mail over his body. She clothes him in a black tunic with a green cross. She sheathes his sword for him. Robin takes his archetypal bow and quiver from her. If he had the time, he would marry her right now. Slight pain from the mail digging into his back. Robin rubs his back. His fingertips are red. You're the first to cause me to bleed from pierced flesh. You're the first for me as well. Robin looks concerned. Did I hurt you? She smiles. Yes, but it was in a good way. I'm now a woman. Are you angry? His girlfriend tilts her head down and then looks up at him. No, it is what I wanted. It was my choice. I chose you. I'm glad of it. I'm off to war. I will return. God wills it, Robin. Robin grabs her, pulls her close, kisses her, then runs off. She stands there, looking off into the horizon. Try not to kill anyone. Chapter 2. Occupation of Messina. Robin journeys to an archery area at the English port. There is a massive fleet of ships rocking in the waves off the coast. He walks past Knights Templars who wear white tunics with red Templar crosses over chainmail. Many are in different circles. Some are training, others are laughing it up. He travels past Knights Hospitallers who wear black tunics with white crosses. They are all gathered by a blue tent, silently standing there. One Hospitaller comes out of a blue tent caked in crimson. He shakes his head. The other Knights Hospitallers ram their swords into English soil in frustration before kneeling to pray to the makeshift crosses. Robin passes through a crowd witnessing a Knight Templar duel a Knight Hospitaller. The Knight Templar has the advantage. He knows what he is doing. He just keeps advancing. His enemy is off balance. The Knight Templar bats the sword out of the Hospitaller's hand. Yield, says the Knight Templar. The Knight Hospitaller rolls beneath the sword, quickly pulling his knife. He presses it to the Knight Templar's neck and he stands up. Yield, threatens the Knight Hospitaller. I yield, says the Knight Templar. Robin claps for the brilliant demonstration of combat. Everyone applauds. Robin continues onwards to the archery area. The target is a post set up by the ocean's shore near an anchored ship. He meets the captain of the guard. He has a pointed nose with blue eyes, along with flowing blonde hair. He wears a white tunic with a black cross. He has mail underneath the tunic. Robin notices he wears black boots with black gloves. The captain of the guard looks at Robin. What is your name? Robin. Position. Archer. The captain gestures at the target down the range. A small piece is missing on the right edge. Try to hit the target at 50 paces. Anyone who hits the bullseye serves on our king's ship. You get 3 arrows to hit the target. Robin stands 50 paces away. He draws his bow, turning the wheels, then fires an arrow. There is a loud thunk as the arrow hits the bullseye. Robin looks at the captain of the guard. There. The captain is stunned. You hit the bullseye. Do I serve on the king's ship? Nobody has hit the bullseye. Do it again. Robin draws another arrow, turning the wheels, then fires it. The arrow hits the bullseye again. The captain is in disbelief. Again! Robin hits the bullseye a third time. Robin turns to the captain. Did I do well? The captain of the guard pulls out a paper. He starts scribbling furiously. Go to the archers' quarters below deck. You're leading a team of our finest archers. Take this parchment. Robin is handed a parchment. Robin boards the large ship floating offshore. Robin steps below deck. He enters a wooden room with many bunks. He spots a redhead wearing a green tunic with a black cross. Is this the archers' quarters? Robin asks the man. Do you see any bows or arrows or quivers laying around? Robin nods his head. Yes? Then yes, this is the archers' quarters. I was told to give you this. Robin hands Archer the parchment. Archer opens it, then reads it. Archer examines Robin. So, you're the one. Let us find you your team. Robin follows Archer. They arrive at a bunk. It has 4 hammocks with a banner of the Orion constellation hanging on the wall. Archer swings his hand towards 3 men. These are your bunkmates. Meet them. Know them. They are your team now. Robin watches as Archer leaves. I didn't even get to know his name. The man with black hair wearing a white cross on his blue tunic speaks. That's Archer. He's like that. Robin stares at him. Who are you? Pope. The other 2 are priest and bishop. Pope is the eldest, followed by priest, then the youngest, bishop. Priest is not so much a man as he is a mountain of muscles. The muscular redhead has many small red crosses displayed upon his white tunic. He wears one black glove. Bishop is the blond one with black cross on his red tunic. Pope and Bishop are about Robin's height. They all rise to around Priest's shoulder. Who are you? Pope asks. Robin. Are you of the church? We are brothers raised by the church. Now we are archers in King Richard's army. We are brothers raised by the church. Now we are archers in the King Richard's army, Priest says. Technically we are not brothers by blood, but we were raised as brothers, Bishop says. You're here to make a pilgrimage to the Holy Land too, Robin asks. Priest tugs on his tunic 3 times. We must make our pilgrimage. We must make our pilgrimage. Robin raises his right hand with his index finger half raised. Did you just... Anyway, I am here to lead you. Did you hit the bullseye? Did you hit the bullseye? Robin stamps his foot. Stop repeating yourself. I can't. Pope waves his hands. It's all right. Priest has a demon mirroring his speech. We 3 are all going to the Holy Land so we can exorcise it out of him. We are all sinners in need of cleansing. That is why we all seek forgiveness in the Holy Land. That is why Priest was spared from the fire. They say the light of the Holy Trinity fills those who visit the Holy Sepulchre, Robin says. Why do you have wheels on your bow? Bishop asks. Power, Robin replies. King Richard leads his army across Europe to Italy. The army sails boats to Sicily. 28th of September, 1190 AD. Arriving in Sicily, King Richard leads his army into the city of Messina riding on a horse. Richard the Lionheart is a large man around 6 feet tall with blonde reddish hair. 3 golden lion buckles glint in the daylight. Chainmail creases and folds underneath his crimson gambeson. Blinding light bounces off his steel helmet with a golden crown upon it. As the army marches down the road, Robin bounces repetitiously. What are you doing? Pope asks. I think I see some green men, Robin says. Bishop, Priest, and Pope snicker. Richard's horse gallops across a group of peasants practicing falconry. A raptor cries as it lands on the arm of the peasant. Magnificent bird, Richard says. Thank you, sir, the peasant says. Give me the raptor, Richard says. Why? Because I want the bird, Richard says. Well, I want a dirty limerick about my life, the peasant says. Give me the bird, Richard shouts. The peasant flips the bird at Richard. Richard takes a sword and lops off the offending finger. The peasant screams as he drops to his knees. He clasps his tiny stump. Richard takes the falcon. The other peasants begin to grow angry. They all extend their middle fingers towards Richard. Richard hands the falcon to Mercardier, who takes it and bows. Richard rides off in annoyance. There are several screams heard. Robin marches by a patchwork of bloody fingers on the side of the road. Robin slides his thumb against his draw fingers. Richard is on horseback leading his army towards Messina, where he unsheaths his sword. Richard stabs his sword in the air. We go to the war with the usurper King Tancred of Lecce. By God's calves I shall reclaim my sister. Richard's army invades Messina. Robin marches with the army on King Tancred's castle led by Richard. The castle is located within the center of Messina. King Richard shouts upwards to the castle. Tancred, release my sister Joan. Only then will my army leave Sicily. Tancred walks out with Joan. Tancred has a fit body, short hair with a mustache. Joan is a small feminine woman wearing a silken blue dress. Her golden hair cascades over her shoulders. Joan grows excited. Richard, you have come for me. I'm taking Joan with me along with her dowry. Try to stop this from happening, and I will slay you myself. Tancred lowers his head submissively, then waves his arm. Take her. Go. Tancred releases Joan. She rushes over to Richard, quickly hugging him. I demand Joan receive her rightful inheritance, Richard says. Very well, Tancred replies. 3 wooden chests overflowing with bezants are drawn out by 6 Sicilians. This is a pittance of her full inheritance, Richard says disgustedly. It's all she deserves, Tancred sneers. Richard angrily storms off with Joan in tow. Raise the English banners! We occupy Sicily! English banners are raised. Robin and his men spend some time with the locals. Robin spends most of his time at the local pizza inn run by Mario. One day Robin is bringing his men to try Mario's pizza when screams ring out nearby. 4 of Richard's knights are sexually assaulting the local noblewomen. Let them go, priest demands. Mind your business, archers, yells one of the knights. Priest looks to Robin. Robin nods his head. Priest, Robin, Bishop, and Pope fire their arrows, narrowly missing the knights. What the shit? One of the other knights screams. We're not any archers. We're the best, Robin says. The noblewomen escape the knights. Robin, along with his men, wind up in the stockades for a day. Well, that just happened, Robin says. Shut up, says Bishop. 4th of October, 1190. Robin is with his men attending Mass in a local church. Robin spots a stained glass window of Joseph of Arimathea capturing the blood of Christ with the Grail. Joseph is wailing in tears as the crucified Christ's tongue hangs outside of his mouth. The clergyman is giving a sermon. The clergyman is clean-shaven, has silver hair offset by black eyebrows. He wears his black frock with a certain disdain. And on the 3rd day, Christ rose from the dead. This miracle was witnessed by Christ's most devout disciple, Mary Magdalene. In the name of the Holy Trinity, Amen. Amen, Robin says. The blood of the Savior seems like pizza sauce. Joseph of Arimathea in his red and blue robes resembles Mario. Mario is winking at Robin, while Jesus licks his lips. Robin makes the sign of the cross, then leaves. He goes into the city with his team. It's pizza time. The locals are taunting Robin and his men. The crusade will be over by the time your army reaches the Holy Land. Why don't you give up, the local says. Veni vidi vici, Robin responds. You crusaders will be remembered as monsters, said the second local. We will be remembered as the men who saved Western civilization. We will be remembered as the men who saved Western civilization, priest says. What was that, asks a local. Sounds like English double talk, says the second local. The locals start laughing. A tear rolls down priest's eye. Bishop loses it. He fires multiple arrows into the crowd. Damn, Robin remarks. Richard's army uses the provocation to begin sacking Sicily. Mass chaos and looting erupt. What do we do now? Pope asks. Robin realizes where they are, so he begins ordering his men. Take everything purple that you can find. Robin and his men start taking all the purple items in Sicily. Robin rushes into a garment store. He grabs many bunches of purple silk. He stuffs it all into a chest, then carries it out. Robin sets the chest down in a nearby alley. He glares down the street at a caravan of chests is being driven through the streets out of the city. Robin spots purple silk hanging from one of the chests. More purple than most kings can afford, Robin shouts. Bishop, guard this chest with your life. I'm going after the motherlode. Robin takes off down the street, climbing on top of a building. Robin starts shooting the caravan drivers. The front driver realizes what is going on, then takes off fast. He begins making serious distance. Robin peers across the rooftops at the distant driver. I gauge the distance as about a mile. Robin gets on his back, putting his feet against the bow. He draws an arrow back with his hands, straining the wheels while aiming with his feet. He releases the arrow. The arrow sings for a mile, then pierces the driver through the back of the head. Robin drops onto the street, moves it over to a cart. He observes the dark red liquid dripping off the arrowhead, sticking out of the driver's neck. Robin twists inside as he opens the wooden chests. Inside he finds 20,000 gold ounces, purple silks, along with other treasures. He realizes he is alone. He must guard the treasure by himself. Robin listens as an army coming down the street echoes in its call for blood. The shadows of the massive army dance across the walls. I'm dead. Robin grabs an arrow, drawing his bow. It turns out to be an army led by King Richard. King Richard looks upon Robin. I see you seized Joan's dowry as it was being transported out of the city. Well done, Archer. Archer pops his head out from the crowd. I did it! King Richard turns to Archer. I wasn't talking to you. Oh. Men from the army grab the chests, pulling them off of the carts. Richard begins shouting orders. We construct my fortress now. The wooden fortress Matagriffin is constructed on a hill overlooking Messina. Its assembly is amazingly quick. As Richard occupies Matagriffin, Robin finds himself on sentry duty. It begins to rain. Philip II of France marches towards the fortress with his army. Philip II has short wavy brown hair, pronounced nose, wearing blue ropes covering chainmail. Robin fires an arrow that lands in the mud near Philip II's feet. That was a warning shot, Robin shouts. I'm King Philip II of France. I demand to speak with your king. Wait a few moments. I shall bring him. Robin scurries away to seek out his king. The pattering of the raindrops smashes against Robin's hood. Everything sounds wet. 100 archers are gathered at the walls of Matagriffin, itching for an excuse, while Richard walks out in front of his fortress to discuss things with the French king. Why are there only English banners flying over Sicily, Richard? I arrived 9 days before you did, Philip II says. We only carry English banners, Richard says. I demand that French banners should also be displayed. Feel free to raise them, Richard answers. I do not approve of your occupation of Messina. I do not need your approval, Richard says. Regardless, I have sent my cousin, the Duke of Burgundy, to warn Tancred what you are up to. Do what you want. For now, I shall do the same, Richard says. The two kings part ways. Richard re-enters his fortress. He addresses his men in the fortress. Behold, we have a view of the city of Messina below. We have my wooden fortress, Matagriffin. We have an army. We head to Messina. 11th of November, 1190 A.D. King Richard organizes his army in a way that surrounds Tancred's castle. Tancred hesitantly walks out the front gates, then stops. Richard walks up to Tancred. I suggest a separate peace be made between our two countries. Tancred is shocked by this. A separate peace? But what about the Pope? Oh, fuck that guy. I agree. A single tear rolls down Pope's eye as he watches them from the crowd. I guarantee Jones 20,000 gold ounces. I also promise a similar sum to the Lionheart contingent on a betrothal. Betrothal, Tancred says. A betrothal between who? Asks Richard. When your 3-year-old nephew, Arthur, becomes of age, he will wed one of my daughters, Tancred answers. The two kings shake hands. Documents are signed. Joan puts her hand on Richard's shoulder. What now, dear brother? We wait out the winter in my wooden fortress, Matagriffin. Richard, wait, a woman's voice rings out. Queen Eleanor of Aquitaine marches up to Richard with a younger woman in tow. Eleanor has red hair with striking blue eyes. She wears a white dress concealing her small bust. The young woman has long brown hair. She has green eyes complemented by a lovely smile. She is slender with long legs, gifted with a large bust. She is wearing a green dress accentuated by a purple cloak. The beautiful woman stares at Richard. While King Richard is bewildered by this turn of events. Mother, what are you doing here? Eleanor presents the young woman to her son. Richard, meet Berengaria of Navarra. I have chosen her for you as a wife. Berengaria presents herself to Richard by curtsying. Mother, I am on crusade. I do not have time for this. The marriage with Berengaria will bring a dowry that can help you finance your efforts in the crusade. You will wed her, bed her, and sire grandchildren for me, therefore for England. King Richard looks at his mother, then to Berengaria. How did you even get here? I've traveled over the Pyrenees to escort Berengaria to Sicily. You will do this for me. King Richard lowers his head in defeat. Very well, as you wish it, mother. Berengaria approaches Richard to take his hand. Richard clasps Berengaria's slender fingers in his rough grip. Richard's focus is on her hand. He slowly raises his eyes to hers. So, Berengaria, do you know I can build a wooden fort out of sticks and blankets? King Richard's army spends their time holding jousting contests, archery tournaments, hand-to-hand combat. The games include all of Richard's men. They make camp during winter. 25th of December, 1190 AD. A feast at Matta Griffin on Christmas Day seems to seal the improved rapport between the two lovers. Robin serves goose to Richard and Berengaria. They sit at a table with a Christmas tree in the room. Richard and Berengaria can't take their hands off of each other. Robin takes a bite of the goose. Berengaria addresses Robin. "Soldier, have you ever been in love?" "My woman is back in England," Robin responds. "Do you miss her?" Berengaria asks. "Every day I ask why. Why am I here when she is there?" King Richard is somewhat provoked by this statement. "Then why are you here?" "Because I remember why I fight," Robin responds. Richard and Berengaria clap, then Robin's motioned away. Robin grabs a metal cylinder from the pantry. He heads back to his barracks, returning to his men. Bishop notices the metal cylinder on Robin's arm. "What's in the container?" "Sherbet ice cream," Robin responds. "What's sherbet ice cream?" Pope asks. "Delicious, delicious," Priest replies. "Sherbet ice cream is something Alexander the Great once ate," Robin informs his men. They grab their spoons, beginning to eat the cold ice cream. Robin addresses his team. "Merry Christmas, men." "Merry Christmas, Robin." "Merry Christmas, Robin." "Merry Christmas," Pope remarks. "Merry Christmas. I can't think of a better way to spend it," Bishop adds. 10th of April, 1191 AD. Richard burns down his wooden fortress. The burning fortress roars like a hellfire. His army boards 200 ships at Messina. Richard is standing on deck as he strings a note to the falcon's leg. Richard allows the raptor to soar. The ships take off to sail to the Holy Land. Priest, Pope, Bishop huddled together with Robin in their quarters. "What do we do with our riches? What do we do with our riches?" "We divide the purple in 4 ways. If anyone in our squad dies, we distribute the remainder evenly among the survivors," Robin says. "Good enough for me," Bishop says. "Me too," Pope adds. I like this arrangement. Archer enters the quarters, his footsteps noticeably creaking on the floor. "You 4, what did you manage to sack?" "I raided a chest of silver coins myself. Everybody else took the gold before I did." Robin stands up. "We took neither silver nor gold." "Then what did you take?" "We took silk, pillows, bracelets," Robin replies. Archer strokes his chin. "Couldn't get anything very valuable, huh?" We took purple. Robin opens his wooden chest, revealing his purple silk. Archer's face has a look of astonishment. "Purple? You have purple?" Robin nods his head. "Yes." Archer processes this for a moment. "My God, you 4 are the richest soldiers in the army now." The sound of thunder crackles in the sky. Robin looks up to the ship's ceiling. Lightning. We are entering a storm. And that is the first 2 chapters of Assassin of the Cross, on sale now on Amazon, and soon coming to a library and bookstore near you. So yeah, feel free to like, subscribe, share, and yeah, please buy my book, Assassin of the Cross. That's only the first 25th of the entire story. Well, anyway, this is Holland Timmons, otherwise known as the Astari, signing off.